What's up, you guys? Sean Moss Sapp here for the Fightful.com podcast, October 9th edition, brought to you by TrigTent.com, Draft Beast, and on it. If you want a different kind of election coverage, go to TrigTent.com. Got a debate going on right now. Well, actually, it just ended. That was fun to try to keep my eyes off of during this show. Also, DraftBeast.com. I continue to kick everybody's ass at Draft Beast. I keep on challenging people, and I've had some people step up, but they keep losing. So I'm waiting for a real challenge. I am the Braun Strowman of Draft Beast. I would go as far as to say that. Also, onit.com, you guys, check out our podcast page, newly revamped, Fightful.com/podcast. Open up any of those podcasts, and you'll see that blue Onit link. Click it. Check out their great equipment, apparel, and supplements used by your favorite UFC fighters, WWE wrestlers, things of that nature, and support the Fightful.com podcast. I am joined by lead wrestling coverage guy person, Alex Pawlowski. How the hell are you?
Well, after that glowing introduction, I don't know how I can be anything less than fantastic.
That's an official title.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to put on my business cards.
You're the Sergeant of Wrestling Raw reporting and stuff things.
Yeah, sure. I'm good. How are you?
That's you. I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Got a trip this weekend. As do you.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Diggity damn.
Me and the wife are going to Niagara Falls.
That sounds way more exotic than where I'm going, which is just Cincinnati.
Okay. Well,
Indeed. So normally we don't have any MMA news to talk about. We did the post UFC 204 show with Showdown Joe last night. Check it out. At the beginning of the show, as Joe got his bearings and got home and everything, it's Canadian Thanksgiving. I didn't know if you knew that, Alex.
I didn't. I was unaware.
Oh, so you better believe the tech team, James, Showdown Joe, they're all getting crunk up there. It's crazy. Nothing will be accomplished until at least Tuesday, I would say, on the tech side of things. Well, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. But either way, I want to wish them a happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Either way, we had the UFC 204 post show last night. Go check that out on the Fightful.com podcast page. Also, I'm going to mention this every single time because I still have people asking me. People say, hey, Sean, where's the Vince Russo show? Where's the Matt Riddle show? What we do is after they're live, done, we unlist them on YouTube, and you can only get them on Fightful.com for several days. Go there, register, absolutely free. You'll get those. You'll get our new forums, which are being overhauled, our exclusive news. I had an exclusive on Bellator championships for women. This weekend I had exclusive news about Dixie Carter's backstage meeting with TNA employees, exclusive stuff regarding the TNA tape library, et cetera, et cetera. Also, Vince Russo's Raw blog. He's got another feature that drops, I think, tomorrow. All kinds of cool stuff. A story that blew up this week about Dixie Carter not knowing what kayfabe was until 2010. That's also on there. We do unlist, though. We do put those back up for the public a few days later. But if you want early access to them, register at Fightful.com, you guys. Also, be sure to share the page, Facebook and Facebook groups, Twitter, Reddit, all that good stuff. It really helps us out. We had No Mercy tonight, and this was quite literally, Alex, an ass-backwards show.
It was. Yeah, they did the whole thing in reverse, Memento style. So it was a very interesting way of putting everything together. I kind of thought they were just going to bookend the show with the two best matches, but they didn't do that. So, I guess we'll talk about it, but they stuck a tremendous match right in the middle and ended it with snoozer. So, I guess I don't know how you can judge the ratings on a thing like this, but I can't imagine a lot of people stuck around to watch the end of the pay-per-view.
Oh, hell no. They were up against NFL football, Major League Baseball playoffs, the presidential debate. Rough.
Yeah.
We started off on the pre-show with American Alpha and the Haight Bros against the Ascension and the Vaudevillains. Why? I don't know. I know one thing. For all the grief that Mojo Rawley gets, I'll take him over Kenzo Suzuki. I'll take him over Rene Dupree, and I'll take him over Luther Reigns.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually not in the strictly anti-Mojo camp. I think he does some fun stuff in the ring. I really love his pounce maneuver that he does. He has some really good high impact, just run across the ring and throw your body into guys stuff. But yeah, this match was fine. I don't know where Breezango is. I don't know if they're hanging out in Breeze's seasonal residence or something, but they haven't been on SmackDown television in way too long. They're better than all of these teams except for Alpha. I don't understand why they're not being promoted in some way and at least put in some kind of, upper mid-card part of the tag division.
Well, Neville's a lot better than most of the cruiserweights as well, and he's also in that same boat.
Yeah. Did you forget that we had the true first part of the pre-show, which was Curt Hawkins?
Yes, I'm sorry, I did.
Terrible thing. They gave him Eva Marie's gimmick.
They did.
He's coming down to the ring to an announcer. Granted, it's himself pre-taped, but he comes out to the ring and says, "Hey, everybody, I'm not going to wrestle," and then he leaves. Like, that's basically what Eva Marie was doing before she got sent away. It's kind of interesting that they decided, we'll just give your gimmick to this guy nobody cares about.
Starting to think it's a rib on Dixie Carter and all of her big announcements.
It very well could be. Yeah, that was.
I remember when
terrible.
she was like, I remember when she was like, "We have a huge announcement," and then she was like, "TNA is pleased to announce that we and Sony 6." It's like, who in the shit is Sony 6? And she had like that shit-eating grin on her face, like, oh yeah. Sony 6.
Curt Hawkins is. I can't think of a worse build-up for a guy coming back. Like, they are 12, 15-year-old jokes, the Chuck Norris jokes that they're
they have to be intentionally bad. Like, they have to be intentionally bad. He's going to come out. He's going to get killed by somebody, right?
Right. I don't know. He's walking down to the ring with some like bejeweled pimp cane, and I just don't understand.
He's had that on the indie circuit. He's had that on the indie circuit for quite a while.
It's interesting. I don't know what they're trying to do. My fear is that Vince secretly thinks it's hilarious, and everyone should think it's hilarious, and therefore he's going to be some kind of, he's going to be the Roman Reigns of SmackDown, being just a dick to everybody, but Vince thinks you should like him. So anyway, on to real things.
It's like the guy, out of all the guys they brought back, they tried to bring back a lot of people too. They tried to bring back Carlito. That would have been fine. They gave their best effort to get Shelton back. Didn't work. They lost interest in MVP. I don't think MVP was anything special. If he were with Shelton Benjamin in like a tag, I think that would be fine. But like they got the guy who really didn't do anything while he was gone. Like, he wrestled for like Wrestle Pro and ran a school and did some Global Force stuff, and like, you never heard anybody say, "Man, you got to check out that Brian Myers match." It was off the charts, but they brought him back. So I don't know. He's going to wrestle allegedly on SmackDown. American Alpha and the Hype Bros against the Ascension of Vaudevillains. American Alpha wins. They probably should have won.
Yeah, the finishing spot was pretty great, with Gable coming out of nowhere to catch the backdrop for the Grand Amplitude. It was good. Those guys are going to be great. I'm wondering when they're going to get their shot. But bring them along slow. That's fine. But they're ready physically and now. So.
Also, I would love to see a WWE rule book. Like, once the 7-minute mark hits, are tags not a thing anymore? Like, it was so bad that Jason Jordan had to shove his own partner off. Yeah. Like, no, you're not the legal man. You can't pin him.
I'll do it. Yeah, that was very good. I don't know who's keeping track of those kind of things, because I certainly wasn't. I had no idea who the legal men were. So, I didn't care who pinned who. At that point, it was just, let's get out of this and move on.
We had a kick-ass opening match. They wanted to get this on before the debate. Yep. AJ Styles, John Cena, Dean Ambrose. I'll tell you one of the things I really noticed about this. Dean Ambrose was switching some things up.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing some new moves. He still did that dumbass suicide dive, one of the worst I've ever seen.
The worst I've ever seen.
He did the rebound lariat, but I hope this is a catalyst to him not using it anymore because John Cena clotheslined that son of a bitch right out of his boots.
Yep.
Just like clubbed him. There's too many individual spots for me to go through here, but man, these three guys, WWE triple threat matches on a big stage like this, they always deliver. They almost always deliver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, these guys have been promoting for this program so well over the past month. I've been so into everything they've been doing back and forth, from the stuff they do individually on Talking Smack to whenever you get the three of those guys in the ring just running each other down. Ambrose cut this promo on Cena on SmackDown. Have fun being the guy John Cena plays on TV, which was just one of the most cutting single lines in a promo that I can remember. And it made me excited to watch this match, and the match over-delivered. If this had been the main event, like actually gone on last on a regular pay-per-view like this, I mean, people would be over the moon for it. But it feels like it happened, 3 days ago. You know what I mean? There's so much wrestling that happened since then that I'm trying to remember specific things. But I just remember at the time going, wow, this match is amazing.
Yeah, with some shuffling of this card, I think the card would seem a lot better.
Yeah.
Like had Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt gone on first, and the Luke Harper return set the tone for the rest of the night.
Right. Yeah.
I think a lot of people would have thought of that a little bit differently. Had Naomi hit somebody in the face with her ass, perhaps 4 matches earlier, maybe that's more fondly remembered. I don't know. I didn't like the booking there, but AJ Styles, when there were a lot of people that had some problems with the finish, AJ Styles, after everything that happened, just came in, walloped Cena with a chair, pinned him. What did you think of that?
Well, okay, you can you have a better grasp of the WWE rule book. In a triple threat, when one guy is taking 2 submissions at once and he taps, the match just continues with nobody being eliminated in any way. It's just like that seemed arbitrary just to serve the storyline to me. But
based on precedence, and that's something I was actually going to bring up, Dean Ambrose and John Cena both submitted AJ Styles. So here's the situation. A lot of people are like, what makes a triple threat match no DQ? What makes it no countout? Well, here's the reason why. It's not elimination. If it were elimination, then they would be able to do DQs. They'd be able to do countouts. The reason they can't is because, say AJ Styles did hit John Cena with that. Well, AJ Styles is DQ'd, but it's not elimination. So what, does John Cena just win the match? They don't like to do it like that. They like to have it. They like to have the anybody can pin anybody and win the title thing, but they don't like the anybody can get DQ'd by anybody thing. That's just the way it's always been. This sort of falls into that. Had this been an elimination match, they would have just had Ambrose and Cena go. But this was WWE's way of really pushing the heel. The he will do anything to get out of it. I would, if I were WWE, I'd have AJ Styles go on Talking Smack or SmackDown this weekend and say, I knew they wouldn't have a choice. That's why I did it.
Right.
I submitted to get out of it. I'll give you a good example. There was an MMA event that I was at, like, 10 years ago. And I'm talking like a real low-level crappy one. And so crappy that a person had to have random people corner them that were running around. I was one of those people. I had never met the person that I cornered. He had never done any training on the ground. The referee was so bad. Everything, like the judges were bad, inexperienced. Strikes to the spine are illegal, correct?
Yeah.
You can't strike somebody in the spine. This guy got taken down 3 or 4 times. So what he did to abuse the system, he punched his opponent in the spine repeatedly while he's on his back, because the ref stood up everybody that committed a foul. About half a minute later, the guy who I didn't even know knocked out the other guy who he had just punched in the spine. He gamed the system. Now, granted, MMA has come a long way, especially regionally since then. I think that's what AJ Styles did. I think he figuratively punched Ambrose and Cena in the spine, then literally punched Cena in the spine with a steel chair.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I mean, did you know they're actually doing a Talking Smack right now after the pay-per-view?
I did.
I was like, that's pretty great that they're just riding that thing into the ground because it's so great. They should. It's great.
Yeah, I had people asking me earlier, oh, why didn't you report the news that Talking Smack wasn't happening? Because it is happening.
Yep.
Because I don't operate on hypotheticals. If we do, we put a big report in front of it, or we put it in our rumors are flying.
Yeah.
Thing.
Your thing from 10 years ago sounds like that Van Damme movie Lionheart, where they're fighting in the bottom of parking garages.
A parking garage probably would have been a step up. This was a dingy gym in a crappy Ohio town in which I will not name. Yeah, it was embarrassing. I was just there. I didn't know. I think I knew 2 people there, and they were like, we need corners. We need judges. We need a timekeeper, too. They said a timekeeper. That was funny. And I was like, I'll judge I'll corner. And I didn't know a thing about MMA. I didn't know a thing.
That's
great. It was hilarious. My real worry was, I hope this doesn't go to a second round because I don't even know what to do in between rounds.
Yeah. When AJ tapped, I thought to myself, oh, Shane's going to come out and say, okay, this match is over, but now we're going to have Ambrose versus Cena in the main event later tonight. And that's why they did this the way they did it.
That would have made a lot of sense.
I was like, okay, well, if they had done that, I'm like, all right, fine. I'll watch Ambrose versus Cena for the title. I'll watch that. But yeah, it was so odd to think they were going to put this match on first. Like, I could not believe this was the curtain jerker. So when Styles tapped, I thought, oh, well, that explains it. They're going to have a second title match later in the night.
That would have made so much more sense.
Yeah, whatever. But like, it was what happened was like, oh, okay, so you're really pushing the heels, the Styles heel thing, because everyone still wants to cheer for him because he's the greatest in the ring in the world. Like, the stuff that he was doing at 39 is just absurd. And I love watching him, and I'm never going to boo the guy. I don't care what he does. He could hit my own mother with a chair, and I wouldn't boo him.
I love this match. That would have made a lot of sense. Also, something to consider. Dean Ambrose, John Cena, both supposedly taking some time off soon.
That's what I've heard.
To film things. That really depletes the star power, for one.
Yeah. But
then it makes you wonder who's the next challenger.
God, I don't know. I mean, like, we'll get to it, but I don't know. I don't know who they put in it. My thought was going to be Orton, but after the end of this full pay-per-view, I can't imagine that Orton's moving on. So who knows? I'm interested to see because I implicitly trust SmackDown just to figure it out and make it work. If this was Raw, I'd be up in arms going, you guys are screwing up so bad. But because it's SmackDown, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take a step back and let him work and let him see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, what a way to start the night.
I agree. Nikki Bella versus Carmella. I like the build between these two. Nikki Bella was wearing jorts.
Mm-hmm.
They were worked jorts, though.
They were worked Daisy Dukes.
They were worked.
Yep.
They were not shoot Daisy Dukes. I wonder if Cena's are worked or shoot.
I don't know.
I know that Ambrose has a mixture.
Yeah.
Like, he found one that is like in between. This isn't the last of worked jeans that we saw.
Nope, it is not.
In the
it
evening.
Will not be.
Carmella and Nikki, they were fine. This match was what it was.
Yeah, no, I had no problem with it. It was I really like you said, I really loved the build to this since like the day after SummerSlam. You know, like, it's been a while since they've been working this thing together, and it's really given Carmella an edge that she did not have at all when she came up from NXT. So, I mean, I'm interested to see where this goes. If this is somehow the blow off, fine. because the right person won to have that blow off. But I honestly don't know. It seems to me with Becky being out and tweeting from a hospital bed with an undisclosed whatever illness, injury, that and apparently out maybe until a month from now, that the SmackDown Women's Division is kind of in upheaval. So we'll see what they're going to do with that, and who goes where. But yeah, it's good to have Captain Nikki Bella around to kind of like keep everything, centered, because I feel if they didn't have her, it would just be chaos.
I was worried when seeing her pick up Carmella out of the code of silence, because after a neck injury,
yeah,
geez, man, especially hers, they moved her throat over and did surgery. Also, I will buy Mauro Ranallo an edible arrangement for calling it the Nikki Sawa forearm.
I heard that and thought of you.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a real thing. The Usos versus Heath, Slater, and Rhino. This, in my opinion, was not the best match, but you know what? The crowd liked it, and they popped when Heath Slater came in and started to clean house. The Usos also wearing the worked jeans. Yes,
indeed. I tweeted this.
One of which is the bigger Uso?
Jimmy.
Jimmy always looks like he's not ready for a match.
He does. He looks like he just rolled out of bed. Like he's just tired and
His old gear looked like he never finished warming up.
Nope. No.
And now it's like he never started warming up.
Right. Yeah. They're above it all. They're that kind of heel. But I tweeted this, and I'm pretty sure I gave credit to the guy that I saw it from. That Wikipedia says that Uso in their language is actually brother. So they're the brothers, which I think is a really great little tidbit. These guys have been reinvented so well since becoming heels. Like, I really love all the stuff they do. I like their persona. Don't look straight at them because it might blind you. Shoes were a bit much, but I'm down for Usos' heels. I honestly thought they were going to win tonight because the whole point to me of giving Slater and Rhino the tag belts was to get Slater signed, and now it's at some point it's got to become a thing that they're the only tag champs I've ever seen where one guy wins and the other guy is not involved in the finish ever. Everybody else has some kind of double team maneuver, or at least one guy leads into the next guy's thing. This is just Rhino coming in and saving Heath's ass every single match, which is funny, but there might be something to it. The fact that they use Slater's music and Gore and Rhino's gore. He finishes basically the workhorse of the entire match every time. I could see at some point Rhino turning on. Just because Rhino as heel would be great. And if you had him turn on him to lose the titles, you could get a great one-on-one singles feud out of it.
I'm sure. Yeah. But then I worry what would happen to each of them after that.
Right. I think Slater is firmly over as long as they don't bury him.
Well, I don't want it to be another Mizdow situation where you get the one feud and then it's like both of them.
Right.
It ended up being bad for both of them because of that.
Right. I feel like Slater is so popular with the fans that you could really have him do anything and he'd get a pop. So as long as they kept him active, I feel like there would be something. The thing with Mizdow is they just buried him. They just didn't let him do anything. After the split with Miz, he wasn't on TV ever, and people forgot about him. So as long as you keep Slater active, I think he'll be able to go further with this. And I honestly don't know how much Rhino has left. I mean, he's 40 now. Is he over 40? He's in his 40s.
He's over 40.
So, this could be his final thing is to really put over Slater by turning heel on him and running a feud with him for a while. I guess he has a legitimate interest in politics, and maybe he goes on to something like that. But interested to see what the tag division holds and whether or not
I'm interested to see what all of these divisions outside of the Intercontinental title holds, because I'm sure Miz is getting a title shot.
Yeah.
That we'll go right into that. Actually, no, we got Baron Corbin, Jack Swagger. Hey, Baron Corbin beat Jack Swagger, you guys.
Yeah, he did.
That happened.
Yep. That definitely happened.
Good going, guys. Nothing special, nothing not special. It happened.
I really like Baron Corbin, and I hope they find something for him to do. He is going to be really, really good. Some of his moves are really, really impressive. The Deep Six should finish guys.
It should.
And the End of Days is one of the most brutal finishing moves in the company. So he's got 2 great finishers. So, I mean, I really like the way he sells stuff in the ring. I love angry Corbin. I think it's all great. I don't know why he's wasting his time on a guy like Jack Swagger.
I think Swagger is kind of just the guy that a lot of their big heels get through. But Corbin should have never lost to Ziggler because it did nothing for Ziggler and it hurt Baron Corbin.
Yep.
Speaking of Ziggler, he and The Miz had a kick-ass match. This has been one of the best things on WWE TV for however the hell long it's been going on.
It really is only 6 weeks. I mean,
it's been great. The Miz TV segments, their matches have been awesome. Good. They have really benefited from a few hot crowds. Yeah. The crowds lately, in a lot of places, I have to say, hats off to you guys because, a lot of times WWE doesn't give you a lot to cheer about. They don't give you, I always say, I hate the people that sit on their hands. Sometimes the WWE gives you more than a reason to just sit on your hands. Lately, it's been hit or miss, but the crowds have been pretty damn good consistently, and it's really helped out things like this feud. I think that's been very important, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, this is maybe the best singles match that either guy has ever had. Put them together and working it this way. There were so many wonderful spots, near falls and 2 counts, and just kicks out at the last second. So many false finishes that I honestly bought into, most of them. By the time they brought out the Spirit Squad again, I threw my hands up and said, this match can do no wrong. I mean, I didn't care what happened at this point. They had built so well through the whole thing. The Miz slowly becoming like a PWG version of himself, using the Liger Bomb and the running drop kicks in the corner and the Daniel Bryan
mocking Daniel Bryan.
Chest. So good. He's so great. This is the thing is that it's so terrible that they actively made Styles more heel because the guy in the company who deserves to be fighting for the WWE Championship is The Miz. He's improved so much in the ring. He's always fantastic on the mic. I can't imagine how a program between The Miz, who he is now, and Styles, who he is now, could possibly be run. But those 2 guys deserve to be in the main event picture together. And this entire feud has reinvigorated Ziggler. Really has. I really did not like the guy. I thought he was phoning in a lot of the stuff. He would show up for 3 minutes out of a pay-per-view match, and that would be all I would see of him that was inspired at all. But this new Ziggler, he really, found a new energy. The whole thing, this was just so great. I'm so happy for both of these guys. I love the story also that these guys are both from Cleveland. They've been friends forever, and they get to work this match together to really put each other over, to create the other one's giant rise on SmackDown is a great story.
I have somebody saying John Cena should have taken a chair shot to the head for the loss. Fuck the WWE rules. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
That's not cool.
Concussions exist. I don't care if you get your hands up or your forearms up. That's dumb. No. Somebody else says the network feed was atrocious tonight. I had it up on my computer and on my TV, and it was fine.
Didn't skip for me, but I know I've had problems in the past when other people haven't.
Oh, sure.
It's a weird thing that it's not consistent.
Also, guys, leave a thumbs up on the video. That helps out a lot. And subscribe to our YouTube page. It should be right down here on YouTube. Make sure to do that. Yeah, The Miz he's a new man now that Maurice is in the WWE.
Yeah.
And she's a good hand. I thought maybe they were just throwing Miz and Maurice a bone. Like, here you go. She can get paid. She'll be on the road with you. Makes it easier for everybody. No, this was the best case scenario for Maurice, best case scenario for Miz, and best case scenario for WWE. It all works. Him having that dime piece with him at all times lends a little more credence to some of the things that he says about how, if you brag about being the shit and you have a hot girl with you, that kind of helps lend some credibility to those claims.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I can only see this feud continuing through up until – the thing about SmackDown is that they have now, I guess, 6 or 7 weeks until over 6 weeks until Survivor Series to fill. They can really take some time to really build a program for a lot of feuds leading up to Survivor Series. So I only anticipate this Miz and Ziggler thing continuing even further. And I do think it might be a little gloating by Daniel Bryan here on Tuesday. It might be part of this program coming up. But I was just really, really impressed with the whole thing. Ziggler losing the boot and having to hit the super kick with a bare foot was just a great thing too. I liked it a lot.
I love that spot. I thought that was great. WWE did a real good job this week. They planted some stories.
Yep.
They planted they want Dolph Ziggler to transition into an agent role and all that stuff. We had that in one of our Rumors Are Flying articles. They had Ziggler, saying, I'll be available for bookings, yada, yada. They had this was a match. This should have closed the show. It should have closed the show.
It should have closed the show. It was especially since they had Ziggler come out on top, and the crowd reaction was they were elated, they were ecstatic, like to have that match and that finish. Why that's not the main event makes no sense to me. If you're deliberately going to put the triple threat on first. Why in the world is that not your main event? Especially when you wind up seeing what is the main event. It doesn't make any sense for it to close out that way.
I completely agree. Yeah, obviously, I mean, triple threat should have been the main event in general,
right.
But if you're not doing that, you gotta do this. Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt would have benefited way more being in the first. Let that surprise set the tone for the rest of the show.
Absolutely.
Let the people who haven't watched the debate yet say, I don't know what to expect. Luke Harper was in friggin' Ecuador yesterday.
Yep.
Now he's here.
Yep.
Love the match. I don't know what's coming next from these two, but I'm excited. I love watching Miz and Dolph Ziggler. Miz has never been better.
Never.
He's never been better.
Mm-mm.
He's great. He's turned into a little bit of an internet darling, too. Could you imagine?
That's amazing. That's what I said. The fact that now he's working in the ring to back up all the stuff that he's able to say, because he's great on the mic and has always been. So now he's doing stuff in the ring where people aren't going to say, oh, you're soft, because some of the stuff that he's doing is not soft. Now, the fact that his wife is trying to win for him with perfume in the face, that's kind of soft. But that's what heels do. That's Rick the Model Martel. You know what I mean? That's who he's doing. So I'm okay with that. But in the ring, the stuff that he's doing is not soft. And I'm really, really proud of him for coming out of that.
Earlier in the evening, Alexa Bliss was backstage. Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan confirmed the rumors that Becky Lynch was injured and out of tonight's show. They said it was an out-of-the-ring incident. What was the exact terminology? Do you remember?
They said it was not related to in-ring performance or something like that.
Yeah.
So I guess that here's the thing that the speculation was her back, and then she's in the hospital. I'm wondering if it's some kind of illness. You know what I mean? Yeah. I hesitate to speculate, but it seems like something like, like it could be something like meningitis or something that's like, it's completely unrelated to anything she would happen in the ring, but it's definitely serious enough that you're not going to go out and be taking bumps. It's not the flu, it's something bad. So she tweeted out a picture. She looked all right in the hospital. She said that, she's going to be back, and, I totally wish her to come back, to get well and come back strong. And, but they said that Bliss was going to have her title match was going to be November 8th in Glasgow on SmackDown Live.
I'd say, what kind of a deal is that?
Yeah. That's a month from now. You know what I mean? Like that's not what we. So it's not either Becky is going to come back before then, and they're waiting for a major SmackDown to do it in Glasgow where they haven't had live events before. That's a pretty cool thing because that crowd's going to be super hot. So you want to do it then as opposed to just some random SmackDown. I'm cool with that. But if really they're expecting Becky to be out for a month, then it really is serious. But Bliss was great in that segment. She said, "Listen, I have a contract that I'm supposed to have a championship match tonight, so you're going to give me the championship." And of course, they said no. But I think that Bliss has been doing so great since she's been on SmackDown, and I'm really interested to see what they do with her for this next month because it's not off to a good start.
Also, Alexa Bliss, if I were her, I'd be like, maybe I don't want to face Becky Lynch in Europe.
Yeah, maybe I would say that to myself, yeah.
They gave her a match. It was Naomi.
Mm-hmm. And?
Wasn't a fan. It wasn't, when Naomi barely hits somebody in the face with her ass, it kind of takes me out of it.
Naomi's too good for that move to still be something that she uses. She does other things so much better that she just retire that move. That should not be in her moveset anymore. But the thing that made less sense than that even was the fact that they gave Naomi the win, which to me is a weird way of saying, okay, here's your, I guess what it is it's saying, okay, Bliss now has to have a program with Naomi for 3 weeks before she can face Becky again. So maybe you start out Naomi by winning that thing, and then Bliss has to get her win back, and then in the rubber match she trounces her. Fine, I'm cool with that. But it seemed very out of the blue to just give Naomi a victory over Bliss in this spot.
So apparently, Becky will be out for a little bit, it seems. So somebody said, well, let her have a mini feud with Naomi. That's fine, but this is your number one contender.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'll see how it plays.
It's possible that I'm not realizing the story that they're telling with Bliss. The fact that she feels kind of entitled to it, she's destined for it and all that kind of stuff. And if you remember, you go back to when she became the number one contender, she didn't do anything to win. She was about to get finished by Becky, by Nikki, and then Nikki got super kicked in the face by Carmella. She shit cans Carmella out and gets the pin on Nikki. So she never really did much to win the number one contendership to begin with. So maybe they're telling the story that she's a weak number one contender and she's got to maybe, prove herself a little bit more before she gets that match, which if they're actually going to tell that story well, I'm down for it. But right now it just seemed kind of out of the blue.
We had Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton main eventing. We've said it millions of times. It should have been a little earlier. The big surprise, and the match was fine. Nothing spectacular, but nothing terrible either. I thought they had a pretty good match.
It was a fine match.
Yeah. One of the better matches I've seen those two have.
Yeah.
Again, nothing bad about it. The big surprise came when Luke Harper returned. He was in Ecuador last night, so it was a little bit of a surprise. So we've seen the Wyatt family dwindle.
Yeah.
Eric Rowan's gone for a long time. Who knows if he'll ever come back?
Right.
Who knows? He's made great strides and improved and has impressed some people backstage, I've been told, but who knows? You got Luke Harper there. Luke Harper on his own just didn't work out, unfortunately. They didn't know how to really utilize him.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think this goes with Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt?
Well, I think it's going to be more of the same, unfortunately. They were teasing stuff with Bray earlier this year that would have made them so much money. They were doing stuff. They had this thing. You go back to the Royal Rumble where he and Triple H had a stare off in the middle of the ring, and the crowd went nuts. They wanted it so bad for Bray to attack Triple H and just become this agent of chaos that he always says he was, where he doesn't care if you're face, he doesn't care if you're heel, he'll screw you up, he'll mess you up just because he can. And he loves this.
That's how you really get somebody over as a babyface, too. They do not discriminate in whose ass they kick. There was a guy by the name of Stone Cold Steve Austin who didn't care what affiliation you were. He was going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. And they did that. And then later, after Triple H had the title he made a match. And there was a point where Bray and Triple H had another stare down, and Bray just looked from Triple H over to the title on his shoulder and back to Triple H's eyes, and the crowd went nuts. And like they wanted it. I want it. I want to do something with Bray Wyatt that's not him sitting in a dark room with a fog machine on, where he's sitting in a rocking chair. Earlier in the night, they had him sitting in the rocking chair, and he was speaking in tongues. I thought it was so funny.
That's another thing. They had a lot of weird shit that led to this. It has to be a parody of itself at this point.
Earlier in the night, they had him sitting in a rocking chair in a dark room, speaking in tongues. And I thought to myself, well, they've finally done it. They've just had him speaking gibberish. Because it's as meaningless as any of the stuff that he says in English when he does his promos. I love the guy. I think he's incredibly talented, and he could be a major force that would make you a lot of money and get a lot of people to come in and buy tickets to stuff. But they're not using him right. And the reliance on Luke Harper, a guy who always used to run with him as well, just like Rowan goes out, we'll get Harper back. And then Harper will go out, maybe Rowan will come back, or maybe we'll trade for Braun Strowman because we can't think of anything to do with him besides being this guy who's delusional enough to think that he's a god, but he can't win a match. I mean, he's not only is he not a god, he's doing a really lousy job of being a mortal wrestler. Yeah. So like, let's find a way to like either have him be the guy who really thinks he's a god and does crazy stuff because he thinks he's immortal. Like he does stunts that he shouldn't because he believes that he can fly and stuff. Have him do something, but just what he's doing now is completely ineffectual and wrong. It doesn't make any sense. So when Harper comes back and the two of them reunited, it makes me happy to see Harper back because I love that guy. I think he's great. But it makes me sad because it's just confirming they're going to do more of the same. And I kind of liked the idea of Rowan being gone and Bray being on his own because I thought they might be able to reinvent him as something different. And
well, I was hoping Rowan would be around so he and Harper could be another heel team on the roster, but that's
right. Now that Rowan was gone, I wanted Harper back if Rowan was around. But no, once Rowan was out, I thought maybe they could do something new. The actual thing that I thought would be really great since Harper was touring with Raw is when Braun gets his mystery opponent on Monday night, when Braun Strowman does, if that mystery opponent was Luke Harper, I thought would be a really, really cool thing and a really fun way to see those two behemoths go at each other. Now it's just going to be Luke Harper relegated to Bray's second fiddle, which is not the best use of either of those guys.
Issa, WWE Blogger Diva, says, Luke Harper is Sister Abigail. I have cracked the code.
Yeah.
I teleport.
I tweeted that, yeah. Like everyone was thinking that Sister Abigail was there and she was going to make an appearance, and I tweeted out, Luke Harper is Sister Abigail. Wait, that's not right. I don't know if there's ever going to be I don't think there should, by the way. I think that if you had some woman come out like she looks like she's in the ring or something, she looks like she's a ghost, like that would just be terrible and cheesy and awful and ruin Bray Wyatt forever. So I don't think there should be a Sister Abigail. But
yeah, you can't have her like new. If you have somebody like Rosemary doing that, I think it adds to the cheese factor. These shouldn't be cheesy B-movie horror movie guys. They should be believable. Like you believe these people could show up Like you turn around and they're standing at your front door ready to chop it down.
That's the thing. The other thing I thought would be great. Did you watch the first season of True Detective?
Of course.
Right. I figure like that who these guys could be is the kind of backwater cult that would do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? That would have crazy estates in the middle of nowhere, and like the stuff they did where they actually had the promos for them when they first came up. Like make them realistic, not mystical, but these guys who were just a little crazy and will F you up. But they've completely nerfed them to the point where there's no reason to take any of them seriously. And even this doesn't. The fact that the Randy's there and Luke shows up and takes off his hood and makes a funny face, and that's enough to distract Randy Orton so he gets a simple sister Abigail, is also just cheesy. There's so much more they can do with Bray and Luke Harper, and they're just not doing it for whatever reason. It is the one single black mark on SmackDown right now. It's the one thing they're doing wrong.
Where does Randy Orton go from here? Do you know?
Well, that's the thing, is that I thought he was going to win clean, because that's what happens when you're in a feud with Bray Wyatt. You win clean. And then he was going to go on and be the next guy to challenge AJ Styles, because Dean and John were going. But now it feels like this thing with Randy and Bray is going to continue, and Randy probably needs a tag team partner so he and whoever can fight, Luke and Bray together. So I don't know who he's going to get. But honestly, I don't know where the main event goes from here, and I can't see any way for them to extricate Randy from Bray at this point.
It's shallow on both ends, on Raw and SmackDown. Like there are 4 or 5 guys on each show, and you're like, what's going to happen when that carousel stops moving?
Yeah.
It's very, very, very interesting. Guys, check out the exclusives under our MMA section. We have additional details from the Crazy Horse, Vanderlei backstage fight, Chael Sonnen talking about how Dan Henderson was pissed off by rumors that that those two colluded against John Jones. Also, plans for the Bellator Women's Championships of next year. We have all kinds of stuff on TNA. We have Russo's Raw blog, which he is trying to get out of doing, mind you. But we floated a couple offers to him. I had a person, Alex, who was like offended that I threw out the idea of Vince to cover Total Bellas and Total Divas.
Why? Offended in what way?
There are people like that are like, how dare you? All he's done in the business. And I'm like, well, on our own show, he has said independent contractors should do what their employers.
They were upset. They were upset because they felt that you were insulting the illustrious Vince Russo. Yeah, no,
I wasn't.
No, I know
Vince
exactly.
Vince is a friend of mine, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all ever read Alex's coverage of Total Medium. By the way, Alex, you got a new one, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I gotta check that out.
But it was one of the best things that I ever saw on the site. Guys, I once assigned Alex to write about an old man beating the shit out of a bear. And you know what he did? He made another one of the best pieces on the site.
Yeah, just go to Fightful, go up to the little search bar and search for bear or man boxing bear or something. You'll find it. It's old. It's from like July, from one of our first weeks on the site, but I'm still very proud of it. Yeah.
It's great.
The thing
Vince would make that good, I think.
Vince.
And the thing is, he watches Teen Mom OG. Right. You cannot watch Teen Mom OG and act like you are above watching Total Bellas and Total Divas.
Yeah, Total Bellas. I have not watched the episode, but the YouTube clips are everywhere. I can't believe John Cena was going to call animal control on Josie. Can you, Sean?
I don't watch reality shows. Breaking Ground is like the closest thing. And the reason I don't is because you got to care about the people going in, I think. I care about the people that are on Total Bellas. I know them. I'm familiar with them. I know it's also horribly fake.
Totally fake.
But I don't think Vince Russo is above covering that. We pay Vince Russo very well, you guys. We do. he is well reimbursed for what he brings to the site. We know he brings a lot of eyes to the site. A lot of people, you want him on show reviews. Personally, I'm glad we don't have Vince on show reviews for a couple of reasons. He doesn't like anything. So why am I going to have him on a show review when I know how he's going to review it every time? He's going to hate it no matter what. If Sami Zayn had the best ever character development, he would hate it because that's what Vince does. So what we do is we have him on Fridays, which you can see when you register at Fightful.com, and we shoot the shit for an hour, and we talk about things. We talk about old stories. We talk about news stories. Last week on the show, he revealed that when Dixie hired Hulk Hogan, there was an internal memo sent out, and when they introduced Hogan, everybody on the roster had to wear fake Fu Manchu mustaches. And he's going to get me the picture of it. That's why we have Vince on Fridays and not on Mondays, Tuesdays, or Sundays.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of people acting like I get that a lot. Like when me and Vince get into it, I'll get you're disrespecting him. And I'm like, no, we're having a disagreement. Jesus. Me and you disagree all the time on the show.
Yeah, no, there are, but yes, I think Vince can handle a little disagreement with you. Yeah,
hell yeah, he can.
Yeah,
me and Vince had it out on the phone. I'm talking like me and Vince were yelling at each other a few weeks ago, and he's like, "We should be doing this on air." And I was like, "I don't know." And then we did it on the air, and people didn't like it. Yeah, so there you go.
It's too real.
Somebody says the Kelly medium and the Matt Hardy Zoo pieces were fine journalism. Yes, they were.
Yeah, I pride myself on my journalistic skills.
Hey, guys, somebody has linked to the Bear article in the comment section at Fightful.com on the podcast page. Somebody says Bray has not been used right since 2014. I agree. I think maybe he was a little – when was it 2000? Yeah, it was 2014, the Daniel Bryan thing. Yeah. God, that's been 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Finally, somebody says, what did you think about moving the title match to the beginning? I was okay with that because of the debate, Alex.
Right. Here's the thing. Because of the debate, I thought, well, that's a good way because the debate starts about a half hour into the pay-per-view. So you start out with this thing. You want everyone to have their eyes on two matches is what I thought. You want them to have their eyes on two matches. One, the triple threat for the WWE Championship, and two, the IC title match. So I thought they were going to bookend the thing. So you have, before the debate starts, you have the triple threat match. And after the debate is winding down, you have the IC match. And I thought, what a great way, because I thought, and I turned out to be right, that Miz and Ziggler were going to have the match of their lives, and the crowd was going to go nuts for it. And it was going to be the best match of the night. So I thought, what a great way to show how much Miz and Ziggler's feud has built and become this great thing, than to give them the main event, and then they didn't. So I got to say, I don't agree with what they did, basically running the show in reverse with instead of having Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt kick off the show, you had them finish it. I don't agree with that. But if they had done it correctly by just having Miz and Ziggler go on last, I think it was a great choice. But they didn't do it that way, so I can't say that I'm happy about that.
We are back tomorrow night. Myself, yourself. I believe Trina is back tomorrow night. I know she goes on her honeymoon soon. I shouldn't have said that.
You ruined everyone's fantasies.
Man. Well, they already know that we're married, so there goes. The female audience is like, they're married? These two studs aren't available? Come on now. I think Trina's back tomorrow night.
I hope so.
I think so.
I think that we are the trios champions of Monday Night Raw Review podcasts.
I'll jump off of a 20-foot embankment and drop kick Angelico off of my microphone if I have to.
If you have to.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Follow Alex at where on Twitter, Alex?
At Pawlowski the Fourth, PAWLOWSKITHE, the numeral 4TH.
Follow me at Sean Ross Sapp. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Fightful Online. Subscribe to our YouTube page. If you want to download these via audio, go to our podcast page. Usually a few hours after the show, definitely by the morning of. They are available via download and stream. Coming to iTunes very soon, I have been assured. We've been working on it forever. It's a lot more work for our situation than you have any idea of. Hopefully Stitcher too. I think so. If you want to advertise on the show, contact me. We can work something out. Obviously, the people at On It, Draft Beast, Trig Tent, they love us. They love us. Hot damn. Check out all the exclusive news on the site. More live viewing parties than any other website in the world, guys. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Until next time, we are out.